putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. We're talking about truisms. Race pimping. Do you want to get some truisms? Go to racepimping.com. Get my book. I'll break it down for you in a funny way. Talk to you about the idea of racism in America. Here's a truism for you. Black leftists in America are the most racist people on the planet, second only to white leftists. Yeah, the racism of low expectations. That's what the left is about. And that's what the black left has bought into. We're talking about truisms. You know some. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, things like that. Truisms. Things that people can't dispute. What goes up must come down. You got them. You know what I'm talking about. Truisms. Belief system. Many of the truisms are drawn from the Bible. I talk often about Proverbs. And again, this isn't meant to be a religious thing, but I happen to have a religious background. Went to church my entire life, still do. And my brother's a PhD in theology, and we have these very deep discussions. And I love the book of Proverbs. The reason is, every time somebody says something profound, my brother will go, that's Proverbs, blankety blank, blankety blank blank. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you go read it. Same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. That's a truism, by the way. And it's a proverb. So you give me your saying, like a stitch in time saves nine. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, or whatever. And I'll go to a proverb and I'll tell you exactly where it is. There is nothing that has been uttered by man that isn't in a proverb. I've looked. I've tried to find. I've been like, well, surely there's got to be something. No, there's not. Now there'll be people that'll go, look, and good. It means you'll open your Bibles. You'll crack it open and try to find something. But these truisms that I'm talking about are things that, you will have a biblical reference. You'll think about it. For example, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. I'm sure Roy Moore would love to be putting that one on some folks right about now. Yeah. There are people out there who are so quick to accuse. I was talking to a guy once, and he was like, yeah, Kevin, I want you to come speak at an event. And, by the way, are you Catholic? And I went, no. And he goes, well, we can work around that. You're religious. He says, you been divorced? And I go, yeah. Oh, I was like, really? Really? So you could be married. You could have multiple affairs. You could have bludgeoned somebody to death. But because you stayed married, you're going to be sanctimonious about it? Look, nobody wants to get divorced. People do stupid things and marry for the wrong reasons, whatever. You get divorced. But if you think I'm going to wear it as a scarlet letter, sorry, I ain't your Negro. It's not going to happen. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. How about that for a truism? Proverbs is nothing but truisms. I mentioned there's nothing new under the sun, right? Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. My brother told me that. Oh man, Cervantes once said, Proverbs are short sayings drawn from long experience. See, that's the essence of life. There's a saying that lingerie is the soul of brevity. What's funny about life is when you've lived it, when you've endured so many things, you're able to boil it down to certain things that mean something to you. And I think of them as truisms. You boil down life. That's your job. You know what you do with your children? You've lived 25, 30, 40 years, whatever. And your children grow up, you have them in your 20s, and by the time you're in your 30s, you know what you do? You boil down life to them in these short little things that you hope they remember. Long experience, short sayings. You've experienced stuff so your kids don't have to. And what we as conservatives do, we try to say to the left, we've already seen this. We've looked into the future. We've already done there, been there, done that. It doesn't work, and they don't care. They're just like rebellious kids. You just don't want me to do it because your stupid life. You think you this and you just want to live through me. No. I used to say this to my older sons all the time. I would say, son, let me ask you this. Do you think I, as your father, would intentionally steer you wrong? And they, of course, they're looking at me like, well, and I go, or even here's another way to frame it. Do you think that the advice I give you is born of experience and the idea of what is going to get you the best outcome? Because the answer is yes. I wish my dad had spent the time with me that I spent with my sons, explaining life to them. My dad was in prison. Whole other life. Anyway, there's another truism. What goes around comes around. How true is this for the Clintons? Aren't you ready for that? Aren't you ready for a little karma to greet the Clintons? Let me tell you, we are 2 weeks, I don't know exactly the day, but it's within 2 weeks ago. A crazy Muslim rented a truck from Home Depot and ran over 20 people in New York City. He killed 8 of them and wounded 12 others in ways that are horrific. I know one lady lost both legs. And we've practically forgotten it. And what we'll do is, while that incident has occurred, we've allowed many, many, many more Muslims into this country. And the people who say, well, Kevin, I can't believe you're saying that. You sound rather racist, are the very people who should be taking blame for what happened with those people in New York, or what happened to the people in Boston, or what happened to the people in San Bernardino, and the many other plots. And, you know, I could go on about, you know, the Miami nightclub, but the other plots that are against citizens of the United States who have graciously said, we will pay for these people. I mean, I wouldn't say graciously because I'm not one of them. I'm not graciously paying for them. The government is robbing me to pay to bring people over. I saw a thing that shows we're paying like $3,300 a month per refugee to come into this country. What would you do with $3,300 extra dollars per month? Could you start a business and make it work with that? If that were your salary and you said, I'm going to go do something I love and the government's going to give me $3,300 untaxable free dollars to go and do what I want, I would be a mogul within 7 years. I'd be doing great within 2, but I would be a mogul within 7 years. And that's what we're doing for these refugees. And the thanks we get is they plot to rent trucks and other vehicles to run us down or to blow us up or to knife us or to shoot us or whatever else. Speaking of shootings, we'll be talking about the shooting that occurred at the school here in a little bit. What goes around comes around. So what's gone around, folks, is leftism. We've allowed it to go around and it's come around. And it's coming around in ways that you have to recognize and go, look, I don't care what you think. You're behaving like a child. Can't let you get away with that. There's a saying in the Bible, when I was a child, I behaved like a child. But when I became a man, I abandoned my childish ways. When does the left abandon their childish ways? When do they finally say, you know what? We should start working together. See, we are willing to work with the left as long as they want to be reasonable. But when they want to come back at us with the name calling, you're homophobic. I'm not homophobic, but I'm not going to let a bunch of people who decided that their sexuality is the way that they want to rule themselves, they're not going to make my decisions for me. I'm not xenophobic. Quite the opposite. I love other cultures. I'm one of the Americans who actually speaks more than one language. So don't talk to me about xenophobia. I'm not Islamophobia. But I'll tell you this, I don't like people that want to kill me. I don't care what religion they are. I don't even like the atheist in America that want to kill me. So don't talk to me about, don't label me. Oh, Kevin, I'm a fiscal conservative but a social liberal. What, really? I'm going to do, if I ever get a show on Fox, I'm going to do a show based just on that notion. So, folks, we have to deal with truisms in life, and we have to make sure people understand that leftism is moronic. That's a truism. Being conservative is a good thing. I got to take a short break. Back in a minute.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.